All right, Ricky. So I kind of heard you said a few times that you don't watch your kids.
I've never watched my kids.
Tell me a little bit about that.
I've never watched my kids. No, I'm so passionate about this. I probably like started everything I started on the basis of like, I will be the primary parent.
Yeah.
And this is like, it's so funny because it's like most people in this situation, most mothers would like almost want that.
Yeah.
But when they hear it to their, when they take it to the face, it's kind of like, whoa, like, and with Rachel, she was like, I had a little brother growing up, I think, and she was the baby of the family. So she was so welcoming for me to become essentially really be the one in it.
Yeah.
And just like learn from each other. But it kind of birthed like this idea in my brain, like I refuse to be considered watching my children.
Yeah.
And, I think the birthplace of that is like, if I asked you like, oh, you're out on a stroll, so nice of you to babysit. Yeah. How would that make you feel?
That question, or that, like, it's not even, people haven't really asked that. It's more of the sentiment that I see a lot of like, yo, being a dad, when you're with your child, you get so many different looks. It's almost like I'm like literally the champion. It's like, yo, everybody will hold the door for me. They see me struggling a little bit. And I feel like I get more recognition, of course, than my wife, which is wild. And it's just so much more, I guess, like validation sometimes. Yeah. And if you really can lean into it if you want to. But I think the point of this conversation today is really to kind of destigmatize what that is.
Well, let's humble you.
Yeah, let's humble you.
Let's humble you and know that like, you're not watching your kids. You're not a good babysitter.
Yeah.
You're not even in the category. And really what you're doing is simply you're doing. I don't even want to say your job. Like it almost is disingenuous to say you're just doing a good job being a dad. Like you're just doing.
Yeah. You just are a parent.
Like I wouldn't come in your home and tell you good job about putting your pants on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not going to say, wow, Joe, you got yourself dressed.
Yeah, great job.
Congrats. Like that's
a great enough.
No, that's just the level of like innate reaction that I expect you to have.
Yeah.
With your child.
Yeah. I think part of it, backing up a little bit, why it's stigmatized like that a lot of times, what we're really talking about is a perception of fathers doing a good job of just doing the bare minimum of what is called to do.
That you're doing a good job when you're doing the bare minimum.
Yeah, when you're doing the bare minimum, or you're just doing, like you said. To me, those first initial moments of like having your child, moving into like the daily process of like, what's our routine? It is a little bit unsettling sometimes to be outside with your kid. It's tough. Like for me, being in New York, it's overwhelming a lot of times to be alone. One, by yourself in New York, two, with a kid.
Right.
So it comes with like some challenges, of course, which any dad outside or any parent on their own with a child, it's just like this immense thought process that you got to do. You're kind of constantly aware of how they're doing, how they're responding, especially in those first few months, bro. It's like, yo, because you're still learning him, your child in general, you're still learning
learning your equipment.
Yeah, you're still learning the stroller.
Have you donned the baby yet in the baby carrier?
Yeah, the carrier.
Is it safe yet? You know what I mean? And all of that plays into the part of like, people, when they see you, are commending the action that you figured out, which is fine.
Yeah.
Right? But I think rather a nod, like a congratulations on your blessing, is more accepted by me rather than like this just overwhelming like sentiment, like you said, of, oh my gosh, you're such a good dad.
Yeah. Yeah. And which is good. Like we want people to see that, and you want to know you're doing good. I think for us, when I walk it through for myself, man, I was overwhelmed walking into the restroom with my son. Like I had to use a restroom at a coffee shop. I remember him being like 3 months, and I'm like, yo, are people gonna think that I stole this kid? Like, are people gonna think that I'm just like here? Because it's like, yo, this is all new for me too.
It's funny watching other matriarchs of their own household like want to step in and help you. Mm-hmm. Like it's almost like a few of the first times that I was out with Laguna, like if there was a matriarch of another household, I don't know everyone's household situation, but like those mothers that were established would be like, oh, do you need it? Like trying to help me out. And I'm like, which I appreciate, but I feel like that is the stigma that either one, I need help, or two, like they're like, he's doing such a good job. Like, because they're comparing you to what they experienced.
Yeah.
And that's where we need to raise the bar, where like the comparison necessarily doesn't happen, or if it does, it's like, oh, my husband does that too.
Yeah, let's break that down a little bit more. When you think about the idea that we as fathers are a supporting role, like,
Yeah.
I think that comes into more of like, yeah, like we don't want dads who are listening, parents who are listening to think, man, you should not be celebrated for being a parent. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It is amazing that you raise your kids. It's amazing that you're committed. Even listening to this, you know, spending time to get educated and
grow
just
yourself.
grow yourself is really great. But we hope that we can destigmatize as fathers that role of supporting. And I think what I want to talk about a little bit more specifically is how with you and your firstborn that you really took on that role. How did that process become for you guys, and what did it look like?
Yeah, so I think one thing that was unique in my situation was just the fact that we breast milk bottle fed.
Mhm.
And so Rachel also breastfed as she could, but she would pump a lot.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm going to bring this up, because feeding is now my son Bear, who is exclusively breastfed.
Yeah.
There is a bit of like, I cannot feed him, right? Like
Yeah.
he does not take a bottle. We've figured that out if you followed my journey. But in the beginning, he would not take a bottle. And I bring up feeding because it's a massive part of this connection you're going to build. And so like for you and how Mal breastfed from the jump, and you've already said prior, like you had to do everything else.
Yeah.
Right. And so the reason I say that is because if you're not doing everything else, if your partner is taking on any one role more than you outside of feeding, they're now going to already become the main actor, the main character in this story, right?
Yeah.
Like, because they're doing the most vital thing, which is feeding your child.
Yeah.
And then say they change your child a little bit more too, you've created a problem for yourself.
Yeah.
And you are now the supporting role,
Yeah.
right? You're going to get that Oscar at the end of the award show that says best supporting actor. And that's
Yeah.
great. And you might commend yourself for that. And people on the street might stop you because you're wearing the baby for once, but like, you need to challenge yourself. You need to look in the mirror and say, like, am I the supporting actor in this situation?
Yeah. And that comes daily. Like that's daily.
Absolutely.
By the minute. Sometimes it is, parenting is an investment every minute of the day. It's
Absolutely.
like my wife, I have a responsibility. We switch the roles. Like I'm out here doing this, filming this right now. She's at home. She'll have something. I'll be at home. You know, we'll flip that. What can I do in the moment is the most important thing for my family. Like, hey, how can I serve my family? Getting up now, as you progress in your parenthood journey, of course, those roles kind of change as they ebbs and flows. But I think what we would encourage dads to do is just to embrace what that looks like.
Yeah.
And I really want to hear a little bit more about your like daily routines of that.
Okay.
With you and Rachel, how did that progress? And even now, because I know it's changed a little bit since you are more full time at somewhere else. For number two. So how did it look? Maybe let's talk through child number one, child number two, how those roles have flipped, not in the sense of supporting, but how maybe it has changed from ebbs and flows of balance, of the tension.
Yeah. So child number one in Laguna, I think I was so involved. Like I was doing everything. And this is like, I love you, Rachel, and you know that. But like I taught Rachel how to change a diaper. Like she had never changed a diaper like ever in her life. And so it is something that like you got to bring the flaps out so they don't have a blowout. Make sure you tuck the top in so it's not all, cut right here.
Mm-hmm.
And you can make the situation really uncomfortable for the baby if you're not changing a diaper correctly, as simple as it may seem, and as quick as some people do it. And so I think through teaching Rachel, I just did everything first.
Yeah.
And so because I was doing everything first, it was like creating this bond between me and Laguna. I mean, one of the biggest testaments to our relationship, and something that's just like for a lot of families like very out of the norm, is Laguna's bassinet was on my side of the bed.
Nice, yeah.
And so
That's cool.
this happened because we moved her bassinet to my side of the bed, I think maybe to like mop or something, or like clean up something over there. And I never moved it back.
Okay.
And I was like, no, she's going to stay on my side. And Rachel, I think, wasn't comfortable advocating for herself at the time. And there's some regret in my heart over this, truly, because Rachel and I got pregnant 2 months after meeting.
Yeah.
So like she was dealing with like this guy.
Y'all are still getting to know each other.
Exactly.
And there's probably parents listening that are maybe in that similar situation.
Oh, absolutely. I think there's tons of parents that are in a similar situation. And I was so keen on like, I now owe my life to this child. And so because I did everything first to walk through the day to day, I at the 2 a.m. feed, I would wake up, like I said, we were in bottle feeding, right? So I'd be heating up the milk, change the diaper, change the swaddle, put Laguna back to bed. Say that's 2 a.m. Again at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Right? Rachel would do the shifts because babies are sleeping 22 hours a day when they're first born. Just a nod to you guys, just so you know. So Rachel would do the shifts from like 6 p.m., 9 p.m. Say we went to bed at 10. Rachel will tell you her hardest wake up was the first one.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you just fall asleep at 10 and they wake up at 11:30?
Yeah.
That was hard for her. So I would wake up at 11:30, then 2, and then 5 was kind of up in the air. But say it was me. Those are 3 little pockets of bonding that were just like solo dolo.
Yeah.
And then once we're all up for the day, we're all up for the day.
Yeah.
And now I'm like subbing in. I'm doing, not even subbing in, really, I'm taking lead on diaper changing. I'm getting her in the outfit. And mind you, the content, as you know, as funny as it was, like it was a lot of bonding, that content.
Yeah.
Like my original videos, if you look from ages 0 to 3 months, I think I posted 79 videos.
Dang.
Now looking back now in May of this year, I posted 6 posts total on Instagram.
Wow.
So like you can see how much I've toned down.
Yeah.
And how much I'm just like really invested into my family now.
Yeah.
But at first, those were a lot of bonding moments.
Yeah, it's a little bit of journaling. Yeah, it's a journal.
That's so well said, bro. It really was Laguna's baby journal.
Yeah.
And like let me ask you honestly, from your perspective, like having followed me at whatever point you did and like seeing me produce this content, was it like, could you see the bonding that we had? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
yeah.
See,
like he has to be doing it.
I think even we went to somewhere the other night and seeing not only for myself, but dad's really connecting with a lot of what you have shown in your process. I think, like we kind of often say here, is like destigmatizes what is possible for a dad to do. I think seeing how you've swaddled, seeing how you learn different things, booger sucker, like things like that.
Wow,
like those things I think have been really helpful to see it in a practical sense.
Yeah.
You can get the ad and you can understand it, but there's not a resource, at least the time I feel like you kind of innovated a little bit of that, where it's like, man, you're documenting this journey and making it a real tangible thing. So I think dads, like we met the other night, was like just cool to see a lot of dads.
Yeah.
We had a meet up and with a lot of the dads in our stroll club community. Ricky was there, and a lot of the dads just came up and they were like, yo, like they were giving you your flowers a lot. What were some of the dads saying that maybe you had seen, that they have seen of yours?
Yeah, I think that I just got floored by like one dad, because he was just telling me like, I was so terrified to have.
No, you're good.
I have D&D on. I don't know how they're even. Just making sure there's not an emergency, because I don't. Rachel, are you okay?
All right, so we are back. We had a little pause right now.
We had a cut where like that's what I'm saying. You're literally doing this all the time. Like it's so funny. We were just talking about you're got to be a dad all the time. You're not at all taking some time off, and it's not like you can't be the star of the show. You have to be.
Yeah.
And so in the middle of this podcast, I'm like, my laptop's going off, and I feel like the guy at church that didn't silence his phone.
Yeah.
And it's an Indianapolis, Indiana number.
Yeah.
Like, who is this? So I take the call, and it's, I love you, Rachel. It's her crying on the phone because she's locked out of the house.
Yeah.
And I put a security system on the house right before I left to New York, because I was like, I wanted her to feel safe. To my own demise, like the lock gets jammed and she doesn't know how to operate this doorbell. So I'm watching the Eufy cam and I just see this little girl crying because my babies are inside.
Yeah.
But like, I think you got to see in that moment, like you gotta dial in.
Yeah. No. You were locked in. You had to. And it's like, yo, I got to figure this out right now with my family, break it down, figure it out.
It was like a testament to the fact that like all of this can turn off immediately.
Yeah.
Like if you're not ready, this is right in line with the episode. Like you got to be ready. You're not the supporting actor. You have a little side quest, but that's not you.
Yeah.
There's no side quest for you. Like this laptop can shut and I'm out of this room and I'm gone, Joe.
Yeah.
I won't even dab you up. I'll leave my stuff if I have to.
Yeah,
I'm at JFK.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I think you have to be ready to be that guy, or you're not gonna be the father figure.
The father figure, man, that was such a real moment.
Sure, yeah.
I think anyone listening, hope you're encouraged by one. Things can happen at any moment in time, but the responsibility that you have is crucial, and it's important for you to be there.
You're
to
the
answer
leader
the
of the
call.
family.
You know, to answer the call, even when you're not in the house, when you're not present, you always have to be present. You know, even if you're on D&D, you're still not off.
Yeah.
You know,
they are not one of the people that cannot do not disturb. You know.
Yeah.
What I mean? And so Yeah, I think I do want to ask you just like because I think that your group has got notoriety in the sense that like a little background, like your group is only dads.
Yeah.
So
Only dads are the thought process, and when we started it is really like, for me personally, was like, hey, how can I get outside with my son, be a little bit more confident with him? And that was the premise. It's like, yo, let's go meet together, be confident with our child, with just ourselves. And I think there's a lot of mess that happens in that moment where it's like you got dads coming on the subway, you got dads, first time in stroller, like all the stuff that happens when you're alone with your kid. That's been really cool to see, the uncomfortable moments, the blowouts with just dads trying to help other dads solve it. And I think that's been a really cool sentiment, because my hope is that dads can build confidence in this group.
yeah,
I want you to come to this group without your partner and say, I'm fully here, I'm fully owning it. I'm talking to other dads who are also going through that same thing, who are also experiencing maybe overwhelmingness of like, my kids, now my son's moving around, walking a little bit. And
Yeah.
it's just like,
they're fast.
I'm like watching him. I'm trying to talk. I'm trying to figure that out. But I think it kind of makes you, it puts it in a real setting. Like
Yeah.
it puts it in a real setting that's safe. That can give you a space to feel a little bit more vulnerable, to say, man, I don't know what I'm doing right now.
Right.
Man, my kid's going through this right now. Also, those deeper conversations of what's happening behind the scenes of your family are really good. But I think that's what we've seen. And I think that's what's been really cool about the fathers that come. It's like they're embracing all those moments and just trying to be outside
Yeah.
and figure it out as well.
You know what's funny is like I'm getting this image, like just to keep it on track of like the supporting role. Like, have you ever been watching a TV show and one of the other characters gets like their own episode and you're literally wondering like, was the actor busy?
Yeah.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah.
Right. Don't be that guy where when a dad shows up to the stroll club, like it's his solo episode and everybody watching is like, where's the main character?
Yeah. And I think in general with settings like that, that's our hope, is to create space for dads to be able to do that.
Right.
But you could do that. You don't need a club or you don't need a group to do that. You can just walk outside with your child, go to the park.
You can
take a walk around.
lead.
If you're uncomfortable walking around the block, bro, is an easy solve to just taking steps. I think what I'm trying to say more so is that we're not just celebrating those moments anymore. It's an active decision on what equal parenting can mean in a household.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it'll never be equal. We've already established how much our wives and partners contribute.
Yeah. Don't get
to
caught
things.
up on the 50-50
Yeah.
of it. Yeah.
But how can I be equal in this moment of contribution? Whether it's not present with my kid, it's being able to do that. For you set up the security system. It's like that for you in that moment. You're leaving. You're
That's
here.
all I could do here in New York. Yeah.
Exactly. And so being able to answer that call and do that, I think, was a really good example. I do want to bring up some statistics on fatherhood that I think are really great to see as we kind of move into this. Like, I think this modern fatherhood era looks a little bit different. When I think about my father, I think about, just presence and what that meant, and the supporting role more so of like working. And we'll get into that on other episodes of like what that really looks like.
My father never even got hired. Like he wasn't on the show.
He wasn't on the show. Bro didn't even show up. Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't have an episode.
Damn.
But no, like I want to hear some of these statistics, because I think that one thing we're trying to do for a lot of you guys is just bring awareness.
Yeah.
And also validate if you're a mom and you feel like your partner is the supporting role and you're listening to this podcast. We kind of want to validate you and give you the tools to bring this conversation up. Yeah.
I want to take a little bit first on paternity leave and early caregiving. A Georgia study in pediatrics in 2025 found that only 30% of working fathers took more than 2 weeks of leave after their child's birth.
Oh my!
And 73% took at least some leave. And I had a full-time job when we had our son.
Yeah.
My wife and I both got 12 weeks off. I know not everyone gets that. I'm really grateful to where I was at the time to be able to take that time. But I also have dads and people that I know that don't take that time off. And I think that time off is very crucial in those first few weeks if you can take it.
Decide that those first few weeks are what's going to decide who's who
and how that role works for you and for your partner.
Right.
And so I think that's something that I would encourage anybody listening is that if you have time off, New York offers paid time off to a certain extent. It's not going to fully give your salary, but I think if
But
you
you have
can,
9 months to prepare.
but you have 9 months to prepare, you know what I'm saying? So even taking that like financial responsibility of seeing that's something you can prep beforehand, you know,
Right.
where it's like, hey, can I take some extra shifts, do some extra stuff to at least have some backing to prepare myself to take some time off to be fully present, because that's so important. And I know not everybody has the luxury to that. And
No,
I
of
know
course.
everyone has different financial situations, but I think if you can and you have the ability to take that time, you should for sure.
Well, I think you're bringing up an interesting point where like we can be in different positions, and we actually happen to be in the same in this one because I had a full-time job when we had Laguna, and I was in California, so kind of like a state that matches New York's mindset in a lot of ways, just like how it's ran. So I actually got over 15 weeks off, but only part of it was paid. So I had to supplement the income, but the kind of key here is like whatever you can do, you should do. So it doesn't matter. So if your work is only giving you 2 weeks off and they offer you like you can take all your vacation days for another 2 weeks, then you should.
Yeah. Or
Then you should.
even the planning. Some people that I know at different companies, they'll take off maybe 2 or 3 weeks and then use the rest of their time, their vacation time for that. Hey, you may not go to Mykonos this year, you know what I'm saying? You may not have that ideal family vacation or that ideal rest.
But I wanted to go home for Christmas with my mom.
Yeah, bro. I would encourage you. I mean, you do what you want, but I would encourage any dad.
But I'm giving you the cheat code to do the right thing.
Yeah.
This isn't. And one thing about this study is like I'm giving you the statistics for numbers, but I can tell you the right answer today.
Yeah.
And it's to take all the time off that you can. And when you're sitting there thinking, "Wow, this is hard and inconvenient," I know.
Yeah.
That's why I know it's hard and inconvenient.
And I think when you think about that, like kind of preface how the starting roles work if you don't take that time. There's another study, and this is 2021. It's a survey for fathers with children under 18. On average, spend an hour a day caring for them, broken down 30 minutes of playing and 30 minutes of providing physical care, and half an hour each are reading, education-related activities. And I think that's shifted a little bit maybe in most recent years. I would hope so. Maybe because I'm around
23 other hours.
Yeah, maybe because I'm around dads who are trying to actively be
remember,
present.
Perception's reality, and so like you may be skewed. Like, no, not my dad's.
Yeah.
Well, I know, but what about everyone else?
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what I would say, that if you don't take that time off initially, it can lean into a little bit more of that spending an hour a day. Now, granted, I know a lot of dads have to work. People have to work. Parents have to work in general. A lot of people in today's society have both working parents. My wife works full time.
Right.
I work.
And you were at a full-time job.
Yeah, we both work full time.
Right.
So it was like, yo, I can't rely on her to spend time before or after work. I have to intentionally carve that time out to be with my son. And of course it's different. Like when we're doing content and things like that, like I have deliverables and different things that were outside of my 9 to 5 that were working, but that doesn't mean that it's an excuse to not be invested in my child's life.
Absolutely.
And so that's the simple solution for that for us was like doing bath time. Like bath time for me is like, yo, I try not to miss bath time. Now I missed it the past 2 nights, which is sad to me, but I try to be there as much as I can. And after we do this and after we clock out, you know, I'm clocking in.
Like the way that you're going to dial in is going to like really change me. I know I was gone.
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about my flight really quick, right? Like when we were designing this, it was literally I flew out Thursday night, 10:30 in Phoenix, ensuring my kids were asleep first. Yeah. Mind you, I Ubered to the airport intentionally so that the kids would not have to be up without me.
Yeah.
So I made sure that they went to bed. I land at 6:30 in New York, and I was up until last night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for that New York trip, it was essential because I had to make sure that there was as minimal wake time of my children and me not present.
Yeah.
And like, that's the type of sacrifices you have to make as a father. And that's what I'm challenging you guys to do. This isn't like a suggestion. Like if you want to be the man that you see on the screen, if you want to be someone that's really working it out, then you have to do your part.
Yeah. No.
You know, like you can't miss bath time again.
Yeah.
Frankly.
No, I have a similar situation when I did a traveling trip recently. where I came in the day before and left the day after. And that flight, West Coast, East Coast, is so brutal for the time change. And really, it made me kind of make a mental note. Next time it's not that I didn't want to get here earlier, or it's that the shoot day was so long. So I was like, oh, I'll leave the next day. Basically, that time difference, if you're not in East Coast, it's a 6-hour flight to LA,
Right.
vice
And then
versa.
a 3-hour difference.
But the 3-hour difference when you come back, so you can leave LA at 9 a.m. You're gonna get back at 9 p.m. around there. And so your day's gone. So I waited the next day. For me, it was a lesson like, yo, I have to take those red eyes if I want to be present and not miss a day. In the first few years, and even with that, I know my son will understand maybe later if I do other stuff, but the first year, it's like I want to be really present with him, and I want to make sure and see everything and experience everything with him. And I know, my wife's done trips as well, and things like that, vice versa. But making those small commitment to being, like how you said, the most minimal time that I can take away from my family is a good solve as well.
You have to exercise.
And not only for that, but for your rest as well, to be able to be present.
Right.
Yeah,
because like getting home with the time change that day, and you're like, I'm beat. I need a rest. Like, rest.
Yeah. You just got here.
Sleep when you're dead. You know what I mean? And so I think this is one note that I'll give parents, and I really want to like dial back into just being a supporting role and like never watching your kids or never babysitting. Is like, this is my mindset, and I challenge you. Is I think in my head, this is the best way for me to accomplish it. To not give a whole conversation, you need a good partner first. So I hope you guys listen to Mel Robbins before you listen to us. Like, go get in a good relationship. Of
course.
If you have that, like you do with Mallory, like I do with Rachel, I try to do 100% of the job. I'm going to fail naturally.
Yeah.
Right? Because no human's built to care for these two babies 100% of the time without any help. And so when I fail and I fall to 40%, sometimes I fall to 80%, sometimes I fall to 50%, I know my partner will pick it up.
Yeah.
Right. So when I get home and I'm hopped in, I'm taking care of the babies, and like that moment of like Laguna's grabbing her blocks and Bear's asleep, and I like sit back and I'm like, oh my God, I know Rachel's going to pick up the slack, and I know that she's going to be able to ensure my children are taken care of because she's a good person.
And there's times with those conversations that happen where it's like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to give this percentage today, and that you're learning it as you're doing it.
Right.
So having those conversations is really important. I found with Mal, with me, because it's like, yo, I'm just not good today. I need I need time. I need time to figure this out. I need time to do whatever project I'm doing right now. But taking it from the mentality of, I'm doing something, so you watch the kid, is such a dated thought process of like, I'm working, so
that's your job.
Yeah, your
so like,
job.
This is my job, and that's your
That's
job.
your job. So it's like, how do we shift?
Make sense.
Yeah, how do we shift that narrative is really the thing where we're talking about today, is like, I never watch my kids. It's like, it's not a job. Like, we're not switching off. We're really just helping each other assist.
I kind of think about it like, imagine your kid or kids. It's like an entity that you have together, and you are literally, so if you only have 30, Joe, you got to give 100% of the 30.
Does
that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's what I challenge you fathers to do. And if you're the partner listening to this and you're like, how do I bring up this conversation? I want to give you actionable advice. And I want you to explain it like this. This is a good little note. I want you to think, so if your job is to go to work, because let's just be honest, this is like where it is a lot. So if this doesn't apply to you, I'm sorry to use this example, but this is most of America. It's your job to go to work, my job to take care of the kids. How is you getting home from your job? Like, how does her job not end? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, when is the job supposed to end then?
Yeah.
That's where you're losing me. And that's where I challenge you as a father that, like, wouldn't her job end at 5:02? So what if she just walked out?
Yeah, somebody's got to somebody needs a second to breathe.
Right. And so like, we can't make the kids a job because it's not a job. That was a choice that you made that you have to deal with. And I think that we really gotta, the temperature check you can use, and like, this is my actionable advice for you, is if you're listening to this and you're the father, can your wife walk out of the room and you not be surprised?
Yeah.
So can your wife say, hey babe, I'm gonna run to the grocery store and grab the keys? And are you going to wonder if she's taking the kids?
Yeah.
Counter, if you're the wife, can you walk out of your house and not say anything?
Yeah.
That's your temperature check.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're not there, I want to give you the actionable advice that something needs to change.
Yeah. I think one
Would you
thing
agree?
too, yeah, I agree. I think one thing too is like, yo, if you do need that time and, not everyone can give 100% every day, every second. Totally understand that. I think one thing to actively plan and participate in is also investing more time into your kids. So like, hey, if you know that something's coming up, or maybe you're traveling, maybe you're doing something, you can plan ahead. Like, hey, I'm gonna spend time with our child this amount of time. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to give you a break for this time because I know something's coming. I think
Yeah.
that's one way too that I've found success with our family is like, hey, I'm I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be gone for a day or a few hours. So I'm gonna make sure to give you some time beforehand or after. It's like, yo, you can't be fully present all the time. We understand that. But I think the most important thing is to be able to accommodate your partner as well. So it's like,
Yeah.
hey, you obviously need some time. That's clear. How can I give you that time? Whether it's childcare, investing in childcare, or literally just being like, hey, I'm gonna spend this time, take
Or
a
you
break.
caring for the child.
Yeah, you're caring for your time. Hey, take the morning off. Like, you know what I mean? I got this. Like,
Right.
just relax.
It has to be
chill.
intentional.
Yeah, and be proactive in that. And that has to be intentional. You have to plan for that because if you don't, you're just gonna.
You get caught up in like the nuances of just like the morning routine and I'd say this often. I think part of my platform was kind of built on taking your child on a date. Like me and Laguna, as she grows up, will have a date once a week, like 100%. I will always take my daughter on a date, and me and my son will have our own thing. But I think what's important though is like I know, and this is I don't want to separate you and your partner. Maybe that's not good advice if you're not there. But if you have a good relationship, you should be completely separate from them with the kids often.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I think is like another temperature check. And honestly, what I judge dads on. So Joe, when you called me a few weeks back and you were taking care of the kids, because how long was Mal out of town?
It was like 5 days. Yeah.
So when Mallory was out of town for 5 days and you called me, like that was kind of a check for me, or I was like, respect.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I was like, for sure. But I had to know.
Yeah.
I had to know, like, you got this?
Yeah.
Because if you didn't have that, it exposes you.
Yeah.
So like all of your dads at the stroke club, great gentlemen. The fact that they're bringing their kids and they're alone, right? No wives. I'm like, for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm peeping you.
Yeah.
That's one little example. And it actually brings me to the question that I want to ask you. Like at this point now, because you're challenging fatherhood and we are all challenging fatherhood, I have to ask you, or like maybe as you, not your dad specifically, because you have a great group of dads that I've seen, but as you look out into the world, do you think people are doing it because they love it or because I'm challenging you right now? Does that make sense? Like I take my kids on a date. I don't need the recognition. I stopped posting for a reason.
Yeah.
Like I'm good off the phone.
Yeah.
This whole conversation started because you were good off of the compliments and the sentiment.
Yeah.
Like I can congratulate you for your baby, but I don't have to tell you good job.
Yeah.
So how many people out there, like, are we doing it for that moment? I have to ask.
Yeah. I think that's a good question. I think that's only something you can answer internally. And I think it changes every day. Like, I think it's both sometimes. Like when I think about posting content or why I do certain things, I've learned, one, I can't post an inauthentic thing, or I'm not going to be outside with my kid, not representing myself well and fatherhood well.
Right.
And that's behind the scenes. That's when the door closes, and figuring that out. So it's challenged me a lot when I've been posting, if that's kind of more so what you're referencing. For me is like, how do I actually live this and actually be a representation? That's for me, it has been that. It's like I can't be.
It almost holds you accountable.
Yeah, I can't post about being a good dad and not be a good dad.
Right? Like, could you imagine Mallory watching that video?
You know what I'm saying? And there's been times where we've had to stop videos. We're kind of disagreeing. We're arguing. Like Mal and I are figuring something out, or we're like, hey, this isn't. My son doesn't want to be around here, or he's not in a good mood, or I'm not in a good mood.
Yeah.
I don't want to misrepresent what the real moment is for us.
And thankfully, you take that time off, which is the part you answered the question in itself. You do it because you're actually doing it. Like, you're actually in the trenches of it.
I try, and then I think it's a check for me mostly, and it's like, okay, hey, what am I doing when the cameras are off, when the cameras are on? Is important, and I think that's the real thing my son's gonna see and notice. He's not gonna care about what we did or what we collabed with or what we brought in. None of that matters. What matters is how he felt and how I made his mom feel.
Yeah,
and it's learning. Like it's learning to do a business, to build a community, things like that, work together in general. There's all those nuances that come with it, and be a dad. You know what I'm saying?
That's the accountability check that just shook me a little bit when you said it, because I'm thinking, as you do this stroke club, like I'm just gonna play with your life if you let me. Imagine you get so invested, right? Like, how could Soul feel watching you run a dad club if you weren't actually showing up as a dad? And I'm talking about when he's like 10.
Yeah.
Where like he has like the awareness, the conscious to be like, dude, you run a dad club and you're not there for me.
Yeah. No,
that's heavy, bro.
Yeah, that's ultimate. And even with Mal's my partner in this, but not only my partner, but my business partner in a lot of these things. There's been times where she's like, man, I'm not having fun. And it really checks me. Like, well, what are we doing this for? Is the real question you have to think about. And that's not just with the stroke club, it's with your life in general as a father. What are you doing with your time, with your friends, with your employment? Like, what really matters in those moments, and how can you be present is the only thing that matters, you know?
Right. Yeah. And I think just challenging yourself, and I really want people to like do that temperature check on your relationship.
Yeah.
And get back to us. Like, me and Joe are the type of people, like, I want to see your DMs and your questions of like, I realized I can't leave the house, Ricky.
Yeah.
Like, wow, you just shook me.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that's a good step to like acknowledge things like that, or like, hey, I'm having a hard time being confident outside with my child, and how do I work through it, and having real conversations with people and listening to things like this, I think help, like we said, kind of destigmatize and repaint fatherhood. You know, we don't have the perfect manual for this, but I think a present father is more important than a perfect father, and I think that's the best thing that we could do. You know? A
present father is more important than a perfect father. I love that. That's good. And I think coming from me, who I didn't have a father growing up, like that's heavy.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, damn, like you weren't even the first part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. And I think we'll leave you with one question. I know you had a lot of good temperature checks, but I would say for the dads or parents listening, my question to you, as in the comments here, is what does equal parenting mean in your household? I think that's something to reflect on for the larger group to think through. Leave it in the comments. Let us know, what does it look like for you, and then how do you and your partner share the load is something we want to hear, because we're all trying to learn it together. So
yeah,
I think,
and as you write it down, I'll be interested to see, like, it's a bit of a gut punch, right? When you answer that question, and when you're like, what does equal parenting look like in my house? And as you write that answer, like, it might be a gut punch or it might be a pat on the back. And so, like, I want you to figure out what it is for you. And that was the point of this episode. I hope you feel either commended or challenged.